He's more committed to spending money to militarize his tenure as president than he is willing to actually invest in cities like Chicago.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson earlier this week talking about how President Donald Trump, instead of investing in Chicago, is increasing spending on border enforcement. This, as you see, the ongoing conflicts that protesters are bringing to the space where immigration officials are conducting immigration enforcement. This is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us each and every weekday morning as we break things down here in Illinois. Of course, over in California yesterday, a lot of troubling video coming out, including somebody who is now wanted for apparently opening up fire on ICE agents. The individual seen with a firearm in his hand, masked, and now the FBI is looking for this individual as there was tear gas thrown and all kinds of enforcement efforts being blocked by protesters, but obviously not protesters. It's turned violent, especially as you've got other video from the ground there showing people throwing bricks through windows. And that's also something that's been alarming for people to see. So when you've got the increased attacks on immigration enforcement officers, obviously you've got some issues of personal safety and the ability for federal law enforcement to do their job, and that's something I think the increased funding for the Border Patrol is coming from. And you heard Tom Homan earlier this week say that they're looking to increase enforcement efforts by 7,000 a day, making it up to 7,000 a day, just to make up for all of the individuals who illegally crossed the border under the Biden administration. So the tensions are there, no question about it. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson asked about public safety and investments in Chicago. This was on, I believe, Wednesday when the mayor had this to say.
It's not one individual that can actually bring about that type of transformation, particularly at a time in which we're seeing these egregious, ungodly policies coming from the White House, where you have a president that is spending more money on a private security militarized force through ICE than other governments spend on their military, right? He's more committed to spending money to militarize his tenure as president than he is willing to actually invest in cities like Chicago.
Now, the mayor says that as you've got video of, again, people chucking rocks and breaking windows of ICE vehicles. This is reportedly from the LA area where they were enforcing immigration law at a facility, reportedly a cannabis growing operation. And a lot of people seeing video from this and also highlighting how, hey, there's kids there. There are kids running away from this particular facility as ICE was on the scene, and people asking, well, why are kids there if immigration officials are, enforcing immigration law? So that raises even more questions as well. But ultimately, the safety issue with somebody seemingly opening fire on law enforcement, and not seemingly, I mean, it's right there in video that's been shared widely on the internet. So you got to ask yourself, where's the best use of public dollars when it comes to law enforcement? Is to beef up law enforcement security around ICE enforcement efforts? Or is it to, go to what the Chicago mayor says is, violence intervention and ensuring that, these nonprofit groups get the funds to go out on the streets and to, mentor kids and such. So, again, the mayor earlier this week on Tuesday talked about, public safety in general, but he took a question on Tuesday from Chicago reporter William Kelly about his own personal law enforcement detail. Should Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson have his own personal detail of that size?
Would you and your wife Stacy be willing to cut your security detail from 150 sworn police officers and put those police officers back on the street where they can protect real Chicagoans?
So we're very proud of the work that we're doing collectively to ensure that our police officers have the resources that they need. As I've said repeatedly, it's policing and affordable housing, it's policing and youth employment, it's policing and mental and behavioral health care services. It's going to take all of us, the business community, the philanthropic community. We're working collectively with Cook County government, the state of Illinois, the state's attorney as well. The volume of cases that we are pushing towards the state's attorney so that we can continue to close out these cases as we really drill down with our detectives division as they solve crime, as they get the evidence over to the state's attorney, gives her the ability to make the prosecution so that we can continue to deter crime in the city of Chicago. That's a holistic approach that we're taking. Thank you.
So you won't
Next question.
You won't be cutting
So,
security detail.
Thank you. We're going to go to
didn't
Michael
answer
now.
the question as to if he would, give up his own personal security detail, protecting him and his family, and that's in Chicago. So again, just trying to square the circle, so to speak, of Johnson critical of Trump, alleging he is getting his own private military to do, his bidding, while, dodging questions about his own security as a Chicago elected official. Meanwhile, you've got the director of ICE, Todd Lyons, telling Fox Business that they've seen a dramatic increase in the number of violent threats against law enforcement in the immigration enforcement space. Let's pull this up here so you can hear what he has to say. Again, this was on Fox Networks.
Officers and agents do go out every day and put their lives on the line. The morale's never been higher within ICE. We have a secretary now that has our back. We have a president that's out there allowing us to do our law enforcement mission. But it's a scary number, Joey, to say, you have 700% increase in assaults on officers. That's what keeps me up at night. And I think the men and women of ICE, they are nervous, but they're brave. They're quality law enforcement officers and agents, and they go out there every day to do their job.
700% increase in these types of assaults on officers. And then again, you get to the rhetoric that's been used, calling it a private military force, as Johnson did. How does that feed into the increased threats to law enforcement for immigration enforcement? Something to watch, no question, and we'll be continuing to see if similar types of conflicts on the streets happen in Chicago, when it's expected to see more increased ICE enforcement efforts in the Windy City, where Homan said earlier this week that if sanctuary cities don't want ICE to help secure detainees from a county jail, then they're just going to put more ICE agents on the streets. And that's going to increase the number of people they take in for deportation. All right, it's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us each and every Friday morning, Thursday morning, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. We'll be back at it, obviously, here with Illinois in Focus Daily.